Welcome all of you once again. I know most of you have been here before. We totally appreciate you taking the time from your private lives to come and join us and stay in tune with what's going on. First and foremost, I want to give an apology to the entire membership for the behavior of the board last meeting. I think it was a little bit out of character for us. I think our passions got a hold of us, and I've had an opportunity to talk to every board member since, and we have acknowledge that this cannot happen again, and I assure you that it will not happen again. And I hope that you guys can look beyond that. Right now, I'm going to introduce everybody just so that you guys are aware. We have Ms. Mary James, which is our manager. We have Chris Wright, which is our legal counsel. We have Jose Sanchez Garcia, board member. Corey Gagnon, board member secretary. We have Marcelo DeFranco, vice president and director. Myself, Mario Cordova, and Herman Perez. So at this time, I'd like to go ahead and call this meeting to order. It's 7:06. Okay, I'm going to call the board members' names to establish a quorum. Herman Perez. Present. Marcelo DeFranco.
Yes.
Corey Gagnon.
Present.
Jose Sanchez Garcia.
Here.
Okay, and we have Mr. Simmons and Mr. Monahan are not here. So we have a quorum, 5 of 7. Proof of notice, I myself provided proof of notice. I placed the signs in the agenda in the proper locations on Monday, and that has been confirmed. Now we're going to open it up to the homeowners. If there's anything you would like to comment on the agenda, now is the time. Raise your hand and I will acknowledge you. Okay, nobody? All right. Now we're going to have a legal counsel presentation.
There was an exchange that took place last meeting about the Bill Sold broadband deal and how that was handled and who knew what. There was also another outstanding issue about a comment that was made when we were having a discussion about trash cans back in October, and I took the liberty of drafting an email that had copies of WhatsApp texts and also pointed toward the meeting minutes from the October of last year's meeting where the comments were made. After going back and reviewing the October meeting minutes and listening to what was said, I don't think that anything that was said was taken or was at least meant to be taken as an off-the-wall equipment remark on my part. It was, I don't know if you guys remember, but we had a big 30-minute discussion about townhome trash cans, where they get placed, how they get put behind the wall. It was a big discussion. About halfway through the discussion, the board had made a comment about whether or not they would do amnesty for some of the homes or not any of the homes, and I made the comment, said, well, look, you guys are the board, you can do whatever you want on that front. And some may have misconstrued that as me saying, well, I just don't care, you guys do whatever you want to do, and that certainly was not my intention. And I don't think that's how it plays when you rewatch the video, but if the membership took that as anything other than me just trying to give direction to the board, then that's on me. I'll apologize for that. The Bill Sold broadband thing, there was some concern that because I wasn't able to be there in person, that I was leaving the board out to dry and not performing my job because I couldn't be there. To set the record straight though, 2 days before that meeting took place, we had a scheduled meeting with opposing counsel for Bill Sold broadband to drop off the funds to settle that whole affair. And Artemis couldn't get the check here on time. No. The first time they made the check out to the wrong party. They had to reorder the check. Then the check couldn't be here on time, which necessitated moving that meeting at the last minute. Some of the board members wanted to move that meeting to a Thursday. And I informed those board members 2 days before that meeting was to be rescheduled that I could not be there in person because I had military service that I needed to attend to. The meeting was set anyway. I offered the teleconference in, which is ultimately what ended up happening, is I called in and we were able to get the deal closed and everything was fine. Some of the folks on the board think that's not good enough, even though they knew going in that I couldn't be there in person. So I just want to make sure that those facts are out. So when the board is weighing whether or not they think that I'm accomplishing my position as legal counsel, that they have all the facts and circumstances. There's also some concern that the impression may be that I'm not spending enough time on bill of sale matters to justify the cost that I'm billing to the association every month. I bill on a flat fee basis. I don't know if you guys know that or not. It's flat fee. So whether we have 100 hours worth of work to do 1 month or whether we have 500 hours work to do 1 month, it's the same price. What that does is that disincentivizes me to run up a huge legal bill on our residents. Because whether I touch your account once, twice, or 100 times, it's the same price. I'm being paid any extra. So there's no incentive for me to go out and come up with reasons to start putting money on your homeowner's accounts. I don't bill any additional legal fees to the homeowners in this neighborhood until it comes time to do litigation. And then it's a $1,500 upfront fee because there's preparation of a complaint, there's notices that have to go out, there could be pre-suit mediation that has to be attended to. So, but getting to the point of where litigation is being considered, I mean, you're talking 6 months, maybe longer, which means the homeowner, before they get charged anything like that, is getting multiple notices from me and management company about their delinquent balance. The amount of time and effort that goes into putting each one of those on a litigation track and the amount of money that we put onto a ledger, I think is fair. The other thing that is not really considered when you're just looking at a timestamp on how long you're spending on drafting a letter is access. For instance, I was in Hawaii last week with my family and I got 3 emails from Adriana and Artemis about homeowners who were either being referred to me because they were delinquent or were requesting a payment plan, and I dropped what I was doing. I drafted that settlement agreement and I got that sent out to the homeowner within about 30 minutes of getting that message, right? So that's the kind of commitment that I make to the associations that I work with having that kind of access. And by the way, I didn't bill in anything extra for that. The homeowner didn't get billed for me drafting that. The email and all that, I didn't bill them for any of that. That's all included in the fee that I bill the association every month. And what that does is that allows them to be able to like go on a payment plan and actually pay their assessment and not a bunch of junk legal fees that just get pounded on top of them. And so their balance goes from being a couple $100 to being a couple $1,000 because I'm looking for a reason to bill. Right? I don't do that to my homeowners. And that's the reason I like, and it's worked well in other neighborhoods and this neighborhood, about having a flat fee situation set up. Some of the other things that were going on in just the last couple of months was over the holiday break and leading into doing the special assessment in January. And, you know, so the board had asked me to help draft a bunch of settlement agreements for people because Artemis was having a hard time getting them turned around as quickly as they wanted them to. So Corey gave me a phone call. I said, no problem, Corey, I'll take care of it. And I did a dozen of those settlement agreements inside of about a week and a half, 2-week time period. And they were same day, next day turnaround on those agreements. And I didn't bill anything extra for that. All the negotiation, the mediation time that we've spent leading up to bill sell broadband, I didn't bill for any of that. It's all included, right? And so the level of access that I provide to the board and to the community for the fee that I charge, you know, it's kind of hard to quantify that. But just to put it in perspective, you know, a law firm that would traditionally bill hourly that does just a normal collection letter, let's say they're 15 minutes per letter, you know, just the special assessment rolls, we have over 150 people who are behind us. If they got a letter from an attorney on that, it's going to bill them $60 for this letter. I mean, that like triples what I would bill in 1 month to do everything. You know, and so really what it works out to is that the folks in this neighborhood are paying me about $5 per door per month to not be billed that way, right? To not wake up and be like, oh crap, I forgot my assessment. Here comes my $60 attorney letter, right? So when you consider everything that goes into it, the access report, all the extra stuff, the really fast turnaround that I've got, I think the fee that I'm charging the association is reasonable. I don't think you're going to get a better offer from any other law firm out there. You know, the few instances that some of the board members have expressed concern about, I think are being overinflated with what happened, or they're being told with half the facts being portrayed to both the community and some of the board members. And I think that if you take a look at the whole picture, that I've done a good job, and I will continue to do a good job for this community. That's the commitment I made when I came in, and it's still my commitment now. You know, the last couple of months, collections have basically come to a standstill, but that was at the request of the board to stop doing anything with collections since January. So I haven't, and that's what I was asked to do. So. Anyway, that's really all I've got to say about that. If you guys have any questions of me, I'll be happy to answer them candidly and honestly for you, if you feel like that would help you make a decision on whether or not you want to retain new counsel. But as always, I'm here and available anytime you need me.
Okay, thank you. All right. Minutes from the February 29th meeting. Anybody want to make a motion to approve them? Jose makes motion to approve them. Do we have a second? Second by Marcelo. Any discussion on the matter? Any changes? None? Okay, so we have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed say nay. Passes unanimously. Manager's report.
The report is for last month. We're running a month behind. That's the way it's built. Based on the budget for February, operating cash is $299,509.35. Prepay assessment 71,117.67. Outstanding IP is a total of $28,550.2. And account receivable for $159,830.92. We have a significant variance on the budget for the landscaping contract for that month. Collected assessment $68,348.41. Past due collected is $13,497.24. We have 7 intent liens. We have 2 staples on hold, 1 prepayment plan, 8 pending lease, and 51 late notice. We also, last property inspection, we did a one at the beginning of the month for March 4th, but it's going to fall into next report. And on the 15th, we also we did an intensive. Well, I did an intensive audit on the final period violations. That is in Dallas, and I have a meeting next week to review those final violations. So they can proceed to impose a fine. Pending approvals applications for ARC, it's 1. And we have 3 pendings for review and 1 denial. A recap of the month of February was total irrigation meter repairs. There was an issue with the billing. There was a high consumption report, and Toho, we put on work order to let them know that some of the meters were reading wrong. So we waited for them to come back. Hopefully they can adjust their bill. Request the financial meeting to review GL's accounts and ledger with Ray. It's an ongoing discussion. There is a lot of, I don't know if I can say misunderstanding, because I haven't really been here. He say, she say, perhaps. So my suggestion to, personally, for my accounting department is to have one of the board members here very, very involved with the financial, with the treasurer, with the board president or somebody else on the board, comment to have a meeting next Thursday at 2 o'clock in person. So they can sit down with the financial manager, the head of department of the financial manager, and review everything, all the concerns. Because to my understanding, every time I go to Ray, he's kind of surprised that the feedback that I'm getting from the board. So everybody can be on the same page. It's better to have an in-person meeting and lay all the cards on the table, so that way we can move forward and see how people better assist you. There's a lot of continue going out of this and out of that. Let's try to fix the issue. We can fix it and then try to move forward. I think it will be beneficial for both parties to sit down and say, hey, I'm looking at this budget. Maybe he's not seeing the way that we see it. So it will be best if we all there and review it together. Construction defects matter from 3166 Villa Palma Lane, the roof replacement, follow-up emails. Somebody from Simpson Road Winning Project, she's reached out to me several times. She wants to send out an e-blast to the community to let them know the updates on the road. But the email that she put together to give information to the communities around the area has not been approved. So as soon as she get it approved, I will be sending out that email to the community. I have created folders in Translet from previous discussions with the board. I'm gonna, now that we start getting proposals, I'm gonna start uploading them. Those meetings minutes that is gonna be signed, it's gonna go, and they're both in the folders as well. And little by little, we're gonna start building our archive in Translet. Okay, if there is anything that you wanna see prior to me, that you have information, you say, hey, can you put this in the Translet? I'm more than welcome to create a folder and put it in there, okay? 2929 Puerto del Sol Boulevard is requesting a payment plan without the late fees. We refer to Chris. Compliance inspections and violations letters were sent, and it's been discussed with Mark and the compliance committee to the board. We have requested it. I requested personally guidance to address those violations, because I have heard in the past that there has been some mistakes, and I want to make sure that, again, we resolve the issue, and we're trying to do our best. I did an audit, like I said, and I want to make sure that before next meeting, pictures are updated, so we're ready to go for the next meeting. And if the decline needs to be imposed, so they're going to decide it. If not, the violation will be closed because they already at the station. Next item would be the received and credit information was sent for those boxes. It was $217.12 that it was credited back to the association. After a few conversations back and forth, you guys decided that you're gonna do the shredding on. So we're gonna, the credit is already recorded and processed, you said. 3174, Villa Palma, solar panel removal. The payment plan agreement request was sent. Do you receive anything from the guys?
You can go back yet? No.
Not back?
It's only been 2 days.
Oh,
We got it.
okay. Okay. I need construction and town hall repairs, follow-up, building 15, is civil repairs and inspection request. Town hall construction defects protocol, the repair protocols was sent to me in review. Sent out the revision of January's previous minutes. Blue Stream Fiber upgraded internet emails. I guess there was some communication back and forth with previous camp regarding Blue Stream Fiber options and company, and I just didn't know anything really about it. I don't know if you guys even entertain that project. JL Spring determination letter for the single family home has been sent. The CBD roof material storage request was sent and they approved it yesterday, I believe. We submitted a residential commercial packet renewal for the insurance to the board, and the board requested a meeting with the insurance agent to better understand the coverage for the insurance policy, which they are going to have a meeting tomorrow, right? Is that?
The insurance?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, we're gonna confirm with everybody. I was waiting for you. That time is good for you? 1, you said, or 2? 1,
You said
right?
one, right?
You said 1, right? 1 PM, you good for that tomorrow? Okay, so yeah, we're good then for 1 PM.
Okay.
And make sure that's the insurance for the HOA, so people understand that.
The
it's not
final
for the
hearing
townhouse.
notice and agenda has been updated and we send it to Mark and the ARC committee and the final hearing committee. We also have some violations reports in the audit that I spoke about it. 2978 Marvella Drive. There is an Airbnb list violation that extended discussions with the board. 2929 Puerto del Sol Boulevard is requesting another payment plan for whatever late fees. We processed the invoice, there are applications, they were having issues because the way that it's set up in the system is that every year has to be renewed. But I find out from Mark that he couldn't log in, nobody could log in, and then I say, your term expired, when is your term to expire? And based on what he told me, when they were appointed, they didn't have a term expiration, so I have to update it for another year. And it worked, right? Yes. 3108 Camino Real, IMS web page access, we set it up for them and update the information. We have 3119 Villa Otero. They reported major cracks in the exterior wall, and we follow up with the work order. The financial support is already been sent. For the previous month, the pest control monthly service proposal we requested and submitted to the board. And that is pretty much what I have.
Thank you, appreciate it. What was the outcome of the Toho thing?
They put a work order in, it was still showing pending. So I have to follow up tomorrow to see, because they say they didn't have any date and time when they were gonna come. So as soon as the work order is closed, we're gonna submit for reimbursement or adjustment of the bill.
Okay.
We're just waiting to see like what they said.
And going on that, so if they didn't come yet, because that was from last month, right?
Mhm.
So then this month has to be credited as well, if
Exactly.
the reading is,
Yes,
yeah, okay.
yes. I have tracked from the time that we reported was the previous time, so
Thank
we're gonna do a graphic of comparison like you normal do with when
Yes.
it starts spiking up, and then from there, they need to adjust it.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Thank you. All righty, officers' reports, treasurer couldn't be with us here today. He's traveling abroad, and, we just received the financials, I believe, last week. So we really haven't had time to digest it. As the manager stated, we would meet with accounting next week, and hopefully we'll have a more comprehensive evaluation for you guys next month. Secretary?
Do you think it will be beneficial for somebody from the financial committee to be there in that meeting too?
No, of course.
Just one person like the chair, if you have a chair for the financial committee.
Yeah, we'll talk with them at the end, yeah.
Ready?
Go ahead, Corey.
All right. Not much on our front. Still processing through a lot of that paperwork, documenting as even from last month in my spare time. It's just a lot to go through. I initially kind of went through everything just to see what we had, what was current or could potentially be current, what we may not have on file digitally, and have the older stuff. So it was going through. There was old architectural requests, some of them dating back to early 2000s.
Yes.
I put them all aside and gave them over to the architectural board chairman, Mark, and said, hey, there's maybe some precedents in here, maybe some information to help you from look at what has been, hasn't been approved. It's not complete by any matters. I just gave that to him earlier this week, so some reading and interesting things. There are projects approved, haven't been approved, things like that. So Mark's got some good reading to
Things to be read.
things to do, red files, all organized. Once we get everything done, I'll be sure to hand over all the documentation showing what was disposed of, excuse me, the disposal certification, as well as the document that the boxes were taken out of storage for hardness. I'll put all that together, Mary, when I have it, give it to you so you can document what happened with everything there. Other than that, we're just, chugging through a lot of just old stuff that is there, but I want to make sure we're diligent when looking at it, and I can get rid of anything that we shouldn't be. That's all I have.
Really appreciate you doing that, Corey. Thank you. All right, committee reports, ARC.
Okay, our ARC meeting will be this coming Tuesday, 26th, here, Clubhouse. Just to follow on, the compliance committee meeting will be the 28th at Artemis. And appropriate notices for those signage will be put up. Immediately after this.
All right, thank you. We have nothing from financial committee today, so landscaping committee.
We have a meeting scheduled for the 28th as well in the morning, just to talk about what's going on in the community. I know some residents have been having issues with broken sprinklers or broken lights and stuff like that. So we gotta reiterate that they need to be more careful when they're going around. And if they break anything, they have to let the homeowner know, or management, so they can relay the information to the homeowner. On the safety, we're still having the community patrol as well. We're getting more volunteers to the Osceola volunteer program, so more candidates are joining, and they're going to be more obviously helping around. And like I said before, if you see something, say something. If you see anything going on the pool, remember, or anything in the community, just call the cops. Right now, everything has signage around, so if anything, if someone doesn't live here and you see it, call it, because then it can be trespassed from, being assaulted.
All right, thank you. Social committee. Basically, one of our board members brought up the idea of Earth Day, maybe doing something, maybe clean up some of our common areas and maybe plant a tree. So we're looking into setting a date for that in time, and hopefully we can get some volunteers for that. The more the merrier. We're thinking of maybe doing it early morning before the sun gets hot, and we try to be done early afternoon at most. We also need to have management start the process of reserving the grill for the barbecue
Okay,
through
like
KUA. And also the clubhouse.
this, the proposal?
Yeah,
July 20th.
July 20th, I think is the date. It's a Saturday.
You know the hours?
I gotta look. I'll work those kinks out with you. Then I'll send you the forms from last year, give you an idea,
Okay.
and then we'll see from there. Our next garage sale, we're aiming for October when it's a little cooler. And also, we need to reserve the clubhouse and come up with a date for the Christmas party. So that'll be usually in mid-December, before, a week or two before the actual holiday. If you could help us out with vendors for the barbecue and Christmas, if we can get some donations, whether,
We do have a department that does events for Artemis, and they do, Ashley Sordo, she's been trying to get in contact with
Shanette, yeah.
They do food trucks, and they're free. You can do it monthly, you can do it quarterly, and they work with a bunch of vendors. So I will reach out to her, it depends on your needs, and then see what
Okay,
she can put together, yeah.
thank you.
And she does the flyers too.
Okay. All right, thank you. All right, ongoing townhome repairs. Any updates on that at all?
I have something I'd like to bring to the board on ongoing home repairs. We've been kind of bogged down with a lot of different things going on, a lot of different directions. With everything kind of moving and us meeting only once a month, I'm afraid that we're going to get to the point where someone needs to be dried in and we're holding them up because we have some kind of approval going forward. So my thought was to maybe work on some delegation and give one of us, again, I know we're all busy, the authority to kind of help work with Mary and just kind of manage these things so that she can get the sign off, so get the contractor in here, get a repair, we can look at it, we can sign off, and we can start the work. We know materials are taking time, you know, contractors are backlogged, so if we could at least get that process on our end set up, it's going to make it better for our homeowners who need those repairs done. So I'd like to have a discussion or if anyone's volunteering. If not, I will definitely volunteer.
Thinking, once the work orders come in, send it over to you and the renting company or the I&E Construction.
I need to do a lot.
Yeah,
There was
so
also,
they can put a proposal together, you guys review it, we walk the area, they have pictures and stuff, and then you can approve it and then at the next meeting rectify that approval and put it on the agenda. So like you say, they don't have to wait a whole month for those repairs that are going.
yeah, so I was hoping to get kind of put a contact for you to come and look at all of that, go, here's my signature, what do you need to move
I think
forward?
we need to have some sort of a spreadsheet to keep track of those repairs. That will help with UK's for the construction, yes.
So some of those repairs are very small and simple. And maybe I&E might not be the best fit for that. Thinking, besides the company, we've been using in the past Handyman. That guy hasn't been around for a couple of months for different reasons. So we were thinking about maybe finding another one for those small repairs.
I think this would be more for the larger repairs that would go to
Correct.
as a result
Right,
of
exactly.
like the Volgenic and all
Exactly.
the stuff up there. I think the smaller things would stay in that realm with like Handyman.
Yeah, but we couldn't get a hold of that guy for a couple of months, right?
Are you aware of that handyman? They call him Ping. I forgot what I forgot what the name of his company is, but you know, he used to do the stuff that we asked him to do here. And we just haven't heard from him since he provided a bid for the garbage can and the bench replacement. We never heard back from him at all.
I can.
And he was well by Artemis, right?
Yeah.
I go by Kim.
Do it. What's, I think it was,
Kim
Well, okay.
Hughes,
maybe it was Kim that brought him up, yeah.
I can look at,
You
they
can
have
find
any
out.
invoices or whatever, that any contact that I can reach out and see if he can come back. If not, do you need a special person, so a special company that is gonna do stucco repair, or the handyman will do it if, as long as they know what they're doing?
So.
It just might, that's the questions because it's a construction defect issue.
Correct.
And you don't want to do a bad patch up and then they come back and say, hey, but you guys bring somebody that it's not even certified to do this kind of work and make matters worse.
So I think that's where we have to divide the line, right? Anything that's going to be in direct relation with Volcanics protocols, I think we need to stick with kind of the I&E pillar, which is quite usually the bigger repairs. He was doing stuff, the handyman was doing stuff that was more like the shutter fell off the building, can you put it back up? The full notice on some of the bricks was loose, can you glue them back down?
Okay,
Loose ends, lots of nests,
Okay.
he was doing that kind of stuff.
PJ Centrum, you don't have to do the contract, but he can be on call if you guys need anything, like, it's a trash can installation, gutter, whatever, he sent people over to do it. So,
Yeah, so we kind of had like two of them. One was just, as homeowners were putting requests in, our thought was that it would be something we could say, like, block us once a month for, we'll figure out whether it's half a day, a full day, and we'll feed you just before you come. So let's say it's a Thursday, they want to come, that Monday you would say, all right, here's the open items within the community, go at it, right? Have at it, get those things squared away, take care of them for us. And there may be some months where we don't have anything, or even some months that we may have one or two things that may say, we're doing 4 hours, but you have a cancellation, you don't have a work and slip in, trying to make it worthwhile then as well, I know.
gotcha,
Come out. And then the bigger things, the Volcanic things, I think are more,
okay,
I&E and like the big group that we want to have protocols gone through. But my concern there is, right, you get the request, you bring it to us, we say we'll get a proposal, it can go back and forth. My thought is, if you had a point person on the board that was authorized to just sign those things, we could get our homeowners put back together sooner, and we're not waiting on the board to get the bigger projects, roof leaks, stucco, like that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I know we were doing that before. I mean, I think anything that can't wait till the next meeting, I think if we just circulate an email prior to authorizing the work, and basically you get a yay or an A and you move forward. I mean, I don't think we need to wait for the meeting.
But at least when he's mentioning that he wanted to be a list just to keep track. You know, as a
Yeah,
point of
no,
contact.
I don't have a problem with you being the point person on that, but I'm just saying that it should work the same way, right?
Yeah.
I mean, once you know that something needs to be done, just shoot that email before, and just make sure, the reason why I'm saying that is because then we have to vote to rectify it.
Right.
And I don't want to hear people saying that, I didn't know that that wasn't happening, I would have never approved that.
Definitely
Just for your protection, send that email before the repair takes place. If someone objects to it, then they do it at that time, rather than wait till the day of the meeting.
yeah, I'm gonna try to, see who that maintenance guy was, so that way if we need to get a different company kind of compare the prices, because some of them, they say, we're gonna be there, but we're gonna charge you for the trip $100, just an example, plus whatever hours they bill you, right? So I wanna make sure that, you get the best prices possible. So there is PJ Central, Advanced Maintenance, and there was other companies, they also use it in other communities, so that you guys can
That's good.
use them too. So we can get some proposals and maybe send it out, you let me know what you want, and then we start calling them out. If you wanna interview before the meeting, and then get the ball rolling, so. that will work.
So then, on run steps for us, can you kind of come up with 2 lists? One, bigger items that would be organic related, and another one, and that way we can go in and look and see what's going on anytime, we don't have to bug you.
Construction and maintenance.
Yeah, like the smaller repairs, the getting in kind of stuff,
Yes.
and then that way we can look in period without having to ask you for the ongoing list.
So it used to be that we could circulate an email and get unanimous consent, to take board action outside of the meeting. but the statute changed. You can't do that anymore.
Okay.
But we do have, there is a special carve out for like emergency powers for when there's going to be substantial property damage or, you know, a safety issue or something. So in situations where we have like major repairs, where we have like ongoing water damage that's occurring, that, you know, something needs to get done, you could probably justify taking that action outside of the meeting, as long as everybody's concurrence, and then just ratify it at the next meeting. We probably want to be really careful about how we set that procedure up, though, because otherwise it could open us up to an argument that we're conducting business outside of the meeting. All right, so however it is that we want to structure that procedure,
In that motion.
yeah, we just probably want to do something in writing and say, okay, these are the circumstances under which we're going to authorize this type of action outside of the meeting, and then it'll be added to the agenda for the next meeting for record purposes.
Or we can do is just the point, the person, let's say, for example, you give you an authority up to certain amount every month in the motion, the board
Yeah, you
approve it,
just-
and then you have that amount that you can spend that month of those repairs.
Yeah, you can, and
Every
you
month.
can even take it a step further and classify specific repairs like roofing, stucco, you know, whatever, up to X number of dollars, you know, for the sake of preserving property, we're granting this authority to a person to do that. And that would be another way to set it up so that, you know, you're doing the business at a meeting, but you're also able to operate in those weeks between.
Yeah, my thought is we're coming up on rainy season. Right?
Yeah,
We're
that's.
kind of dry right
that's
now, because we get in the rainy season, we may encounter more of these things. And we want to be able to be nimble and respond.
So somebody wants to make that motion?
Make the motion to appoint one of the board members.
So, but the amount that we can do, what is it, 5,000 or something like that,
Yeah, I would say 5,000,
Because
almost
that-
all the repairs have been
Yeah.
under 5,000.
on the 5. So I do a motion, to appoint, Corey Gannon as a point of contact and to have the authority to spend up to $5,000 on any repairs on the townhouses.
In cases where
Well,
the person needs to.
in, I mean,
to do-
I think
any
exterior
repairs,
water
yeah,
intrusion,
any repairs of the townhouse or the exteriors, because that's what
exterior
we,
water intrusion though, right?
Right.
not
That's
because,
what we're talking about?
not because,
You guys can put a box however you want
Because
around it,
remember-
but if we're talking about stuff that's gonna be from Volcanic, it'd be like roofing, stucco, recalking, windows and doors, jams, that kind of stuff.
But I understand from what you read, or what you explained, is that in order to conduct this business outside.
no, we don't gotta do that. That's what we do in the
Yeah,
motion.
it was like an either or, Marcelo. So you could either set up this framework ahead of time, in which case you conducted that business at a meeting. Or between meetings, you could take this extraordinary action.
Yes, that was gonna be my question. I understood that those business between meetings was to solve issues where the preservation of the building was a problem, not to do something that could wait until the next meeting. Is that right?
Right, those types of emergencies, like, hey, tornado hit yesterday, and I need to get a guy out there tomorrow to tarp this thing and keep
Or
water
there's
coming in.
a leak in the roof.
Right, we gotta shore up a truss, or we gotta, you know, whatever it is, keep the building from falling off, like that kind of stuff would
But
be
if
emergency.
something can wait, it should wait. That's what I'm
Right.
saying.
Right, which is why that other framework that you guys were talking about would be like an instance where, you know, if you can wait, you can wait, or if it's something that needs to be done in like a week or two, you would now have this as an outlet to be able to get that to move forward.
Yeah, on this
So-
case,
so the
this
motion-
motion, what I'm doing is just to give him, for any work order that comes that have to be repaired, he has up to 5,000. What he was mentioning, if we don't have a motion and we have to decide outside the meeting, it has to be an emergency.
Especially,
For that reason, I'm doing this motion to give him
Okay.
authority to
Right,
spend
so
up
you
to
don't have-
5,000.
right.
Yeah.
Right. I understand that. Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
So I did that, so any repairs, so then he's not confined to, doing
Yeah,
something.
I thought the motion.
Yeah, what
had
to-
to be confined to
To
those.
what
areas.
is it,
No, okay.
Right, and let's be specific, this is to preserve property and not just to repair because something needs repaired. This is,
Well, I put it as Any repair, because, yeah, let's say, for example, we had some doors that they have termites, or, before, I'm not talking about now, but then if you don't have that, then they have to wait. So it's better just to have any repairs, because then, if you get any work order, you can fix it in time.
The other thing is this is just a motion that we're making at a meeting, so you can modify it at any time too.
Mhm.
So 30 days from now, 60 days from now, 90 days from now, you're like, hey, probably need to tweak this a little bit. You absolutely can.
Okay.
Okay, second the motion?
I second that.
Second by Jose. All in favor, say aye. Aye. None opposed? No. Motion carries unanimously. Alrighty, any update on the Sangria Menorca Reserve Study update? They were supposed to be modifying the numbers to start January 1st.
So he sent me a proposal to recalculate the numbers for 2025. And he was about $350 to do that. After speaking with Corey, he said he was under the impression that the reserve study was never final because they were going back and forth with some changes. So, but Lynn, the guy from the research study said, oh yeah, it was finalized and it was at the end of January of 2023. So I don't have the record. And he sent me the final draft, the final research study, but it hasn't come through my email. Probably is the internet is blocking it. But I will have it tomorrow. So Corey said we're just gonna
Yeah, so it sounds like, right, we were going back and forth, and I have some emails pulled up. It sounded like we were going through, like, we looked at it, and like initially they had like sidewalks and gutters, and so that's not us, right? Take that off the report. And then that, it came back with the report, and we, continued to look at it, and we found out that, the backflow meter that's out there, the backflow valve that's out there for that area isn't our responsibility to tell us. So we went back and said, you gotta take that off, right? Well, at some point, I think they closed that, finalized it, and we never saw the final report. Everything that I have in my records is draft process. So when we went back and said, hey, because it took that time, right, we started this in late 2023, right, and hopes that it was to potentially have it done before, we didn't get enough time to get into the budget for 24, so we said, can we shift everything? Our understanding is now, contact is, that's been closed, and they want $300 to do the recalculation to push us,
But
put the numbers
for
here.
guidance, the research study that is used for guidance, right, for the X amount of life of the items. So if it was calculated in 2023, you guys didn't use it, and you're supposed to start piling up the reserve money this year. Since you didn't do it, maybe your accounting department, based on the research study, when we do the budget, they will recalculate it counting
Right,
this
so
year. So
that was
I don't
my
think-
thought.
yeah, I don't think that you will be able to, you don't have to pay the $300 if you don't want to. But like, I'm gonna get it tomorrow. It's in my email somewhere. I haven't got it. It hasn't gone through yet. But we can have it ready to take a look at it and we can ask the questions. We have the research study, we didn't use it this year, but these are the numbers. So we're gonna have to adjust it because we missed 1 year. And that's it.
So if you think that table that had all these years on it,
Nothing
just
really
manually
gonna
move it,
change,
and in 3 to
so
5 years, when we look to have it done again, it'll be fine.
it's just
But
extended.
we're not, we didn't collect any.
I just like
Yeah.
exactly.
Just slightly skewed, so
Yeah.
if it is closed, we're not gonna do it, they want $300, I don't think it's. Sure. We'll just
They can recalculate.
manage
Yeah.
it for the, a couple of years, and we're
Mhm.
gonna have it, and we get it redone, everything will work itself out.
And then we'll do
The
that.
numbers are good, it's just
Exactly.
the dates that are attached to them are
Yeah.
a lot. But I can't remember ever seeing the final version, I think everything I have has drafts process.
And either way, you're supposed to have a research study done every so many years, so
Yeah.
it's gonna recalculate itself by then.
I think we can manage from,
Yeah.
we have the data,
Yeah. I
we
think
just need
so.
to know that we have to look at it a little
All right, consideration of new legal counsel. Does the board want to excuse current legal counsel for our discussion on this? Thank you. Okay. So, anybody want to make a motion on this?
So, and then, no, nobody had it. Okay, yeah, I made the motion, to change legal counsel. For,
Let me ask you something.
Yeah.
We had already voted for the new legal counsel, so, do you want to ratify that too in the same, motion, or do you want to do two different motions?
oh, we can do it in one.
Yeah, I think it's better to do it in one.
Yeah.
And just to update the membership, basically there was a discrepancy in how the interpretation of the motion votes last meeting went. So the new legal counsel that was voted on last time decided to step back and wait for the board to iron out their differences before they would accept the contract. So this is why we have to redo the motion.
So, rewriting the motion, so I made the motion, to end the contract with, legal counsel Chris and get, the new legal counsel, Dimazi.
Anybody second?
This is Scott. I'll second that motion.
Scott seconds. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, say nay. One nay, so we have, did you vote?
I'm going to stay, so I'll keep with that.
So Mr. abstains, and we got 4-1. And then motion carries unanimously.
You has 30-day notice cancellation of the contract, correct?
So on the hook for April.
Yes.
Okay.
Now, I
Call that.
I have a question. Does he have any cases pending?
That I don't know. I mean, I think that, my opinion is that the best approach is to let the new legal counsel work with him during that month and try to iron out all those things, because I really don't know. We don't have any report from him or anything. I know there's 18, is it?
Yeah, 18.
There's 18 intensive foreclosures that are sitting on the table that haven't been,
But we
Filed,
stopped that, I think, on the last meeting until
we can figure this out.
the legal, yeah. Because it was already like 27,000, so we didn't,
Okay.
Somebody want to go back in, or should we just?
No, we have to call him because he got his stuff in there. And he can finish anyway, he's in the 30 days notice.
Can we go?
Sure.
Go ahead, go on. We'll move on to new business. Where are we with the 3144 Rio Terra repair?
That's the gutters on it.
The
The
gutter,
gutter, the filling the hole with the irrigation exposed,
It's still pending.
still pending.
Yes.
Have we contacted anybody about it, or?
So last time you said you were gonna use the handyman guy, no?
For the gutter?
Yeah.
well, on this one, we voted up to, I think if I'm not mistaken, $1,000 to use any company. Whoever can do the job for obviously less, if possible, because it's only, I think like what,
Yeah.
15 to 20 feet?
Much less than
Yeah.
that, but rather err on the other side.
And then obviously to cover also the,
You might be able to just ask Blade Runners.
Yeah, right,
They're cutting the grass there. I'm surprised they haven't
Yeah.
done it.
They do gutters too?
no,
like
like
refill the
the
hole with
the
dirt.
hole. because the water just makes
It's
it big.
exposed.
Yeah, congrats.
Okay. The roof repair for 3152 Via Otero, I think this had been approved before, right?
Yes.
Did we figure it out?
3152, I sent all the ones that has been approved with, to, what is her name?
And yes, or something.
Michelle, I did not.
Michelle?
I don't remember her name. Iron Construction though, right? That's what you're talking about. All right, so we're just waiting
For them
to schedule the work?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, because that
So
was being
it's
approved.
been approved.
Yeah,
Yeah, we would approve it in January. I
yeah,
think.
in January meeting.
Yeah, I went back with those.
So,
They will coordinate in a schedule to inspect the property and to do the necessary repair. They were gonna coordinate it with, Jose, which was the, owner, I guess, for that townhome.
Jose, for 3152?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Jose
I don't know who the
Raymond,
owner is.
something like that?
Yeah, I don't know who the owner is, but the proposal was approved already. So
Yes.
they just have to really coordinate and schedule the job.
Yeah.
And
And I did
311,
provide them, the construction company, I did provide them with that.
okay, so let us know when they schedule it.
Will do.
3119 Via Otero, that's the stucco repair. I think I was supposed to come out and take a look at it.
Mhm.
Have they done that yet or?
Let me see. I did send in a follow-up email, and they're supposed to be here last week. And they haven't responded. I did try to call, what is his name? The phone number that you gave me, Mario.
What's that?
The guy's office, from E&I, or I&E.
Yeah, Arsenal's number? Yeah.
Yes. And they were supposed to schedule to come and take a look at it last week. I have to follow up with them again tomorrow, because they haven't given us a report. But I did contact them, I
Oh,
think more than twice.
okay. And we don't have any update on the bench and trash can
I
replacements?
was not familiar with that, to be honest with you, so.
So just so you are aware, the park on the, when you come in from the gate, the park on the right side, on the far right, all the way to here to the Sangria Street, all that is HOA property. So there was a car accident that plowed into the bench and trash can that were there. And,
So I just sent a follow-up email to the CDD,
So-
saying when it's not gonna be replaced, or?
so, no, we would have to replace it. What we were asking is to ask the CDD if they intend to replace any benches recently, like in the next few months or so, and make sure that we kind of coordinate whatever they're gonna do with what we do so that they look the same. And I know King had given a quote on this before, but I'm also thinking, I think it's a good idea that maybe we have, 2 or 3 handymen that we can use because it seems like they're not always readily available. So it might be a good idea to have 2 or 3.
It's a good point.
Is the association gonna purchase the bench and the trash can, or the vendor is gonna provide them?
Well, that would depend on the conversation with the CDD, because if the CDD is planning to replace every other bench in the
Then
community,
you're not gonna do anything.
maybe they can buy it and we will pay them, so we ensure it's the same bench, same color, same material.
So it looked the same, yeah, uniform.
Yeah, and, the other thing is, if you decide, let's say if you get a handyman to do the installation, Artemis, we can order them the bench and the trash can. But they obviously they will charge a fee for that. It's the same way with the vendor. You have to give them a deposit up front to pay for the material and then pay the other deposit when the installation comes. It just depends how you want it to handle based on the codes. But we're gonna wait for the CDD.
Yeah, I think that's the first step,
Yes.
because, if they're planning to replace the others, like 4 or 5, maybe more, so the same person that's going to replace those can replace this one, and we can figure out how we contribute to that cost as in each way, and then we don't have to deal with anything.
Yeah.
They deal with that. Or vice versa, they decide that we do it, and they contribute to our cost.
Yeah, correct.
Okay. Budget 2025, I think I had a conversation with Mary about this. We basically would like to get at least a rough draft for the July meeting, prior to the July meeting if we can, so that we can start implementing changes and hopefully have it ready to vote by the August meeting. Anybody else want to comment on that at all?
Yeah, I wrote in my email to Ray that ideally 2 weeks prior to the July meeting. So we have-
Anything that you have in mind for 2025 that might be added to the budget, it would be great to start getting proposals so that way you can kind of see where you are.
No, that's another one. We need, if you can, yeah, proposal for grass companies and, whatever vendors we get, just so at least we are comparing because we don't know. Maybe prices have changed and maybe lower, but I doubt it, but lower, yeah, we need some.
Maybe I can work with you, Corey, on that?
Yeah, sure. Working. Look at some of those things.
Okay. The next issue is lighting behind Via Palma Townhomes. One of the homeowners last meeting brought up that it's very dark back there, that when they had the burglaries in the cars there, that the police gave kind of the advice that they should increase more lighting, especially in the back, because when the police come in, I guess the thieves run out towards the back, and that's how they get out of the community. This question is more for the attorney, because I'm not sure that becomes private property, because that belongs to the homeowners. Is the HOA, allowed or permitted to place lighting in that area?
Do you want to go on to somebody's private property to do HOA lighting?
Well, that's the request of the homeowners, and they're willing to give permission for that. I don't know what the legality of that is, so I just promise we'll bring it to the meeting and we'll get some advice on that, or.
And also, so because the person requested, you got the lights that they are in the front of the building, they're KUA lights. So from that transformer going back, to the back of the buildings, obviously I think they create an easement, but like he said, it land on a property. It can be, I don't know, CDD or their property.
If he wants a light there, why doesn't he just install a light?
So I think that the request is the whole street, the backyard, faces the reservation and the creek and all those tall trees and all that. It's very dark at night, and there's no alley, nothing, so it's just grass. I'm pretty sure that part of that is private property, of course, but there should be most likely part that is not private property. For sure, the space between the buildings is not private property. That's pretty much for sure. And the other thing that we might have to look at is where the private property ends, because beyond that point, whoever owns that property, CDD, HOA, I don't know, might be able to do something. So, but I think what you're saying is that in case that's not really what happens, and everything back there is private property, and we do have to install those poles in private property, what would be the legal?
I think you have to review the plat first, and have KUA to do a lighting assessment.
Well, why are they asking for the light in the first place? There's something going on back there?
It's really
Safety.
dark, and there's a lot of robberies at night.
On
And
that area.
the backyard is, most of the entries to townhomes in Via Palma have occurred through the backyard, right? Because there's no control. Nobody can see the backyard from the street. As I said, there's no alleys. Any other townhome, the back of the townhome faces an alley, right? Or has an alley in the back. So there's always some kind of movement. And you can see those alleys, even if you're driving on the street, you can see the alley when you get to the corner. The case with Via Palma is different because that's forest, basically, right? So there's no way to see what's going on from the street. And there's been a few cases throughout the years where townhomes have been robbed, entering from the backyard, saying that, there's no light, anything else, they try to do the.
So why don't we just approve an ARB saying that if he wants to put a light in, let him put a light in? Or is it like a specific kind of light?
It's multiple homeowners that want
I think the request is to have something that is kind of unified throughout the back, so it looks like,
I mean,
it doesn't look like, like
and
surface.
this is gonna be affixed to we'd affix it to the outside of the townhome, or you wanna put poles in? And run power lines back to each one of those poles?
Well, you
But
can
that's
do- you
one
can do-
option.
You can do, you don't have to do a light pole, you
No.
can do a pot
Yeah.
light, like on the side of the building, those forest lights.
Mhm.
Those, like, depends on the area.
like a floodlight.
Yeah, yeah,
But the power feeding that.
And
would come-
solar, it can be solar.
yeah.
We're gonna do solar?
But that's another
It
option.
could be in a solenoid,
Well,
like solar.
there's no legal prohibition that I'm aware of that would prevent us from providing a light either on the townhome or even on a pole, as long as we're putting the pole on our property or we have homeowners' permission to install it on their property, right? So if we could overcome that, that opens up a world of options, which is the best option for what it is we're trying to accomplish and what we want to pay for. I mean, ultimately, that's a cost benefit analysis that you guys are gonna have to do.
Yeah, and if it's a light pole, you have to do a lighting assessment with KUA.
I think that probably should be the first step, because all the light poles here are covered by the CDD.
Okay,
So
then
if they can have a light pole there, then it probably will become a CDD expense.
Yeah.
Or the other thing you could do is just say, listen, the HOA will buy the light, but you're gonna hook it up to your power bill and it can aim into your backyard. And if the homeowners are like, yeah, sounds good to me.
But on that end, right, the HOA buys the light for those homeowners, right? So let's see, Corey wants one, I want one, I live on the other side. I'm just
No.
going based on that because,
That's a
you know.
legitimate,
yeah.
that's a legitimate argument. The difference though is that your circumstances are gonna be different because they back up to a reservation area.
Yeah, correct. I
and
just
you
want to
guys
make
have the
sure.
Street, right?
Yeah.
So you can differentiate circumstance a little bit. They're like, well, your situation's a little bit different, because you're in a different
Gotcha.
location than these guys are, so.
The Wolfpack lights, they can be put in with a solenoid, solar lights, so you don't have to really run a lot of cables to into that,
What you said.
and put it on the side of the building or whatever, I don't know.
Yeah, I think HOA involvement should be a last resort thing.
Yeah.
I really think we should look at KUA to do the assessment and determine if they can put something there. And if it is open to that, then notify the CDD that those neighbors are requesting,
So
and if they're okay with it, just to get their blessing. 'Cause
can you guys send me like any pictures of the exact location so I can tell, like, I can call KUA tomorrow.
The homeowner can, give you that information. She's here in the meeting.
I have the
Yeah.
information. I'm also. I have this.
But,
just give her the pictures at the end of the meeting. Talk to her at the end of the meeting about it.
After the meeting.
Okay.
I have everything.
Okay.
So one last question. One of the concerns when we talked about this last meeting was what happens if that owner who gave permission to put a pole in his backyard sells the property and the new owner doesn't want it?
What you'd have to do is you'd have to do an easement.
Right.
Were they like just become to
Yeah.
do that?
KOA will check if there is one already there. If there's already an easement in place, then they can put the light, the homeowner cannot. do
Yeah,
anything.
right. If it's already in an easement, you don't have to do anything with it. The other option is if you just buy the light for the homeowner and it's hooked up to their thing and they decide to turn it off, it's their light, right? So we had a one-time, we paid, $100 or whatever it was for the light and then we're done. Like, we don't have any further involvement with it. It's your job to maintain it. It's your job to point it in the right direction. It's your job to pay the power bill on it. That would be a way that the HOA could limit its involvement and having to constantly.
I agree.
Okay.
All right, we're gonna move on to talk about townhome insurance roadmap. So one of the board members,
oh, no, I'm sorry. No, that tomorrow.
Yeah.
I was just.
So one of the board members raised, we visited this situation at the beginning when we first took over the board about insuring the townhomes. At that time, the quote we were given verbally, it was never a written quote, was kind of very astronomical that we didn't think we could cover that. And due to already raising the assessment to the townhomes because of reserves, we felt that it was not the right thing to do. However, based on the board member's recommendation, we have reached out to insurance because we're due for renewal of our package anyway. So we have this scheduled tomorrow, and we're going to ask questions and see what we can do to either insure them now or what changes we need to make to insure them at some point as soon as we can afford it. Anybody else want to comment on that? No?
I think you covered.
So we will update you guys next month on that. Okay, so next item is townhome pest control proposal. This is for exterior pest control. As you guys know, we've had a couple of incidents with raccoons going in people's attics. It's cost an enormous amount of money to have those animals removed and to make remediation for that. I think part of the reason raccoons and other wildlife come to homes is because there's food around, there's things they like, and I think, you know, a lot of people have complained to me about ants and wasps and all kinds of stuff that they have outside their townhome. And I just think it's reasonable in Florida to consider giving them exterior pest control, you know, as one of their expenses for their maintenance. I don't know if we, and I'll ask you, I don't know if we have a line item that this can go under. I'm thinking repair and maintenance for the townhomes. Do we have enough? I guess.
If you can put it for this year on the data, and every time that we process an invoice can go on the comments, we can certainly do that, but for 2025 budget, it has to be recommended since you are considered to have this new.
Line item.
Yes, and then make sure that you do a motion to allocate that money for pest control, pay that invoice under that GL code. Okay.
Okay.
Just for this year, next year, we do a line item for pest control.
So I don't know if the board had a chance to look at the three proposals on pest control. They seem to be vastly different depending on which one you look at. You know, I think we should consider it, if anybody wants to make a motion on these.
I have received three.
Yeah, we should.
Three of them, we use them in three different properties. Joey's Pest Control, we took Golden Creek project because they have the same issues with Turtle Creek and Suncroft. So their proposal, he's really good. Their proposal.
Which one are you talking about? I'm sorry.
Joey's Pest Control.
The 81.
Yeah.
81
It's
something.
$8,100 for the whole year, because I freaked out when he sent me that, and I said, hey, Joy, it's like $8,100 a month, and he was like, no, it's for the whole year. So Commander Pest Control, they do have another properties, and Phillips Landing, and I believe the Beacon Park 1 and 3, and they are asking for $1,200 a month. ABC Pest Control is having, another property in San Paulo too, which is on the River Lakes, I believe. And they are asking for $800 to be on them.
845, and then, but they're charging taxes, so I don't think we pay taxes, so.
Yeah, 800 something and change. It's the cheapest one. Three of the companies are one of the top companies. They work with me and with myself and Artemis and other association. You more than welcome to send me more companies and we can look over. It's actually $908
But that's with taxes.
with taxes, yes.
But I don't think we pay taxes in non-profit, right?
I think you do.
We never have before.
No?
I don't
We
think so.
can ask that question to them then.
Yeah.
So,
Because I was looking at the ABC, you say you're working in San Cloud. They work good because that's a company that I saw that it
And
was.
they do rodent exclusion, they do.
Yeah, that's what I like, that company.
I like their proposal. It's very detailed, with pictures and everything. It's,
yeah, I didn't see Roland's Commando.
that's the last one.
We didn't ask for a specific maintenance to be performed
They don't.
because you said they're the experts.
Yep.
They have to give us their opinion based on the locations, based on the property, because they came out and took a look at the area and walk around and see what they needed. So that's what they base the proposal on.
So if they come and make an assessment and decide that any type of rodent prevention is needed, this quote could change?
Well, the quote is only for service,
Pest control.
pest control. If you need any
Removal.
rodent exclusion, that would be an extra charge.
What I'm
Because they
saying
have
is-
to go in the attics, they have to seal the hole, they have to remove the animal, they have to
Yeah,
treat
I
the
understand, but the pest control doesn't, in the description, I see insects, wasp nests, all those kind of things. I don't see any animal in the description. So if they come and they say, well, we need something for,
Oh, they will tell you what it is, and they'll probably send you a different proposal. Right.
So this is probably like your preventative maintenance.
Correct.
Yes,
Come
that's
on,
right.
then, they'll do, well, I don't see anything with termites on here.
We have already
You have
termite.
massive for
We have
termites.
We have
massive
massive.
termite on.
Right, so we're adding the service on, do we contact Massey and see if Massey would do anything?
No, because this won't replace the termite. Termites are separate.
You're saying this is.
This is for bugs outside.
Right,
Ants and
Bugs,
everything.
ants, anything
And rodents.
inside the
Right,
buildings.
but I don't see in the proposal, if I'm looking at Commando, it doesn't say anything about termites.
Because we
We're not
didn't ask
replacing
for it.
Massey, we're keeping
Yeah.
Massey.
Right, but what I'm saying is, if we approach Massey and say we want to expand our services,
You can.
and maybe see if we can get a deal
A better
there,
price?
right?
Yeah.
deal.
Because they do all that, should we just do
Oh, yeah,
that? That's our
they do.
responsibility.
So you wanna table it till we get Massey to weigh in on it then?
I think, I mean, if I was in their position and I had customers say, I want more services, I mean, they already have a decent contract with us with that. Okay, I'm coming out already in Waterline.
Yeah.
I gotta go back and look at that. I think Massey gave me a proposal a few months ago when we
I
were
think
looking
mass is more expensive.
for
though.
lawn stuff, and I think they were pricey, but yeah, we can get one in writing, just to
Yeah,
make sure.
absolutely.
I mean, even at that rate, would these guys do termites, and we, include that on that side of the house too?
Or vice versa, yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe find out how much
Because they
extra
do.
it would be.
All this, I think Commander Pest Control does termites and ABC. I don't know about the joint one, the joint.
But whichever do
I mean-
both, yeah.
I mean, out of these three, to be honest with you, I think I like the middle quote better. I like ABC because I think they're more detailed. They're including the rodent stuff already in their quote. So I would just like to see a comparison from them in terms of doing the termites.
Talking about ABC?
Excuse me?
We're talking about ABC?
Yeah.
I don't know, I think that if removal of, yes, there are, the proposal is very detailed. However, if removing an animal or rodent is gonna be a significant increase, I think that we should go with a cheaper one, and then if anything, we can hire them specifically for that duty. Because again, I don't.
They can also give a discount though if they have the contract here.
So
So let's get more information then and see who does termite and see if we can get a whole package with one company so we don't have to have multiple companies.
Do you want to ask them what is the average price for
That-
the
yeah,
animal?
that too.
Animal trapping?
Yeah, like raccoons.
There's another company that I have used in the past. They just specialize in animal trapping. They do the rodent explosion. They do everything. So I can get a separate proposal in case that, something comes along and you need to have that service done.
Yeah.
So as I look at ABC, I don't think the monthly rodent prevention maintenance is not included because they didn't check it off.
No.
Not included.
It threw me off because I saw it there and I thought, but they were supposed to check it off, so.
Yeah.
So,
So,
next month.
the price.
April, next month.
So we'll table this issue till next month and let's try to get comprehensive bids, including termites, rodents, from each one of them
Massey, you said.
and Massey.
So Massey's our current service provider.
Yeah.
Right. Let's see if they can expand to all these other things and how much would that cost. And let's make sure that ABC includes
Termite one.
bait station and all that.
Have you guys had any relationship with Florida Pest Control before?
No.
I think Massey's been here or something.
Florida Pest Control, in my experience, I mean, I quoted for the lawn maintenance back then because I thought, maybe I would say maybe a year ago, because I thought, that Blade Runners wasn't doing a good job at it, and I quoted them, and all of them were quite high. I mean, I'm talking like 20 grand a month. So, and that's for like
The
just
whole
lawn
community.
maintenance though, nothing to do with this. So we'll table that and move on to the next thing.
Animals.
Oh, sorry.
So do you want, the proposal to include just confirm with Massey to get a proposal for maintenance? Termite bond proposals from ABC and probably the other three people that they submit a proposal. Animal exclusion proposal to see if all these three companies can do that and what the price will be. And then do you want just to have an idea, like the water exclusion company that just is specialized for that to see the price? Do you want that added to it? No, just in case that you don't go with them, but like in case that you need it,
No, why not?
at least you have.
I usually just get, for raccoons and rat, that's the most that we're gonna get here. So at least we know per animal, because that's the issue we have with raccoons. So at least having those type of prices is gonna be easy to make a decision.
Yeah, there's traps that they sit in every of the buildings for raccoons and those kind of animals, and then they come and check every month, do inspection, or when something goes into the cage, they take it out, they remove it.
Okay. Sounds good then. All right, we'll move on to the next item. I took it upon myself over the past month to past 3 weeks, I mean, we did this meeting a little earlier, to kind of go through Robert's rules and kind of come up with general meeting rules for us to try to adhere by, to try to keep more order during meetings, and for it to be kind of more even and everyone gets to talk. And because I think that's been something that's been verbalized to me from different board members that sometimes they don't get to finish their thoughts, or they had something more to say. And I think we've been kind of lax on rules, and we've been kind of talking over each other and doing kind of stuff. So I don't know if the board members had a chance to review these rules. Is there any input to any changes you guys want to make? And if we decide we want to adopt these rules, then somebody can make a motion.
We should leave, I'm sorry,
Well,
we should leave the floor open to add or delete from the rules as we find necessary, because we have to agree that we're going on a trial basis with this set of rules, hoping that they will be the ones to be used once and for all.
Yeah, every changes, we have to make another motion. Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah, so.
But I think what he suggests is to approve temporarily, just to see how it goes, and we make changes as we go along. Is that what you're saying?
No, he said to keep it open.
We have to approve them.
Yep.
And then leave the possibility to add or subtract from
Oh, yeah.
from the rules as we see necessary.
Okay. Yeah, I agree with that. That's fine.
Then I make a motion to approve those rules.
Anybody second the motion?
I second the motion.
Do I have a second? Any more discussion on the matter?
I'll just say a wish that I had, which is that we don't really have to make sure that we implement this, because it's good to have it that we can continue to do this as we used to do in the past without rules. It's good to have them. But my wish is that we don't really have to enforce it. That's a wish. That's my wish.
Yeah, and the good thing about this, what I see on the positive side, is to keep the meetings moving faster as well, because sometimes we talk too much on items that we don't need to, and then, we get longer meetings, and people need to go homes as well.
So, somebody second the motion?
Yeah, somebody seconded it already. Corey, anything on you? You had mentioned something to me before.
They haven't changed since last time. So I had two concerns with the one rule that says a maximum of 3 minutes for speaking time was my concern. Just because the board may have more to explain what it to do, with Mario explaining it was ideas to kind of keep the meeting moving and keeping us talking. As long as we have a more ample time to talk, that is, if you get 3 minutes and you're done and you shut up and you can't say anything more, I'm okay with the 3 minutes to keep things moving, give it a try. I think there's a few points where we may have more than 3 minutes to do it. The other thing that I have, just with some of these things, is being recognized. I think we, as a group, need to agree upon what it is that we're going to do to be recognized. And we're going to look at Mario with a hand, raise our hand, whatever it is. So Mario knows that we want to speak, right? Keep it warm. But then also, when we're done speaking, how do we give that word back to Mario? That he knows that we're done.
And yield back.
Yeah, I mean, we could play Senate rules and do all the yielding back.
You can just say I'm done.
Yeah.
You say I'm done, that's all I got.
I just say that we need to agree upon that so that we're all in the same terms, and Mario knows what our cues are, you know.
I think if you raise your hand or finger and I acknowledge you, you can put your hand down, I'll just write down that you're next, and, I'll keep a tab of who's talking, and this way everybody gets a chance to speak. And, these are rules, but I look at them as guidelines. This is kind of to try to keep order, but obviously, if someone needs a little bit more time or less, then some people have been need less time. So we could figure it out as needed, as we go along.
As I said, I wish we don't have to implement them, that we can continue to do as we did in the past.
Before.
Sometimes you need a little more than 3 minutes, sometimes 10 seconds is it.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree, you're right. Okay, so we have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Passes unanimously. Now, consideration of 2024 elections. So our elections are an annual meeting in September. I think we had some discussions at the organizational meeting whether what we want to do in terms of seats that are up for election. So any discussion on that?
Like I said on the organizational meeting, Marcelo is doing good, Jose is doing a good job. So I think, them being re-elected for this is gonna be easy. Right now, maybe we're gonna have an empty chair. We don't know when. So if we have to fill out the chair with somebody appointed, I don't think it's gonna be fair just to appoint it and then put it to trial on September.
Chris, because they're gonna be appointed in the middle of the term perhaps, right? And then the elections come in a couple months later, they're gonna have to rerun? Or they can just,
So
they're gonna have to, because
if you get
he's taken this.
If you get appointed, you're filling the remainder of that director's term, however long that is. If it's only a couple of months,
Yeah.
it's only a couple of months. If it's a year, it's a year. Whenever that seat would have come up for election next, is whoever now occupies that seat would have to run for, I guess election technically, because they got appointed the first time.
Yeah.
But they would have to run to keep the seat.
Like when the governor appoints a senator because the senator died.
Right. You
Yeah.
fill the remainder of that term, and then they would have to stand for election at the next election.
Mhm.
Now, if there's no quorum and there's no election held, then that seat would roll over.
Yeah.
But the last couple of times that we've done election, we've hit quorum, so I don't know that would be a concern for us.
So, and I think the seat that potentially is going to be vacated is probably the seat that was due for election this year anyway. So we just have to decide on one more person that.
I had thought in the past we were doing it reverse appointment, was my understanding. How we're doing it, I understand that there may be an interim period where someone has, maybe 2 or 3 months, depending on when this vacancy becomes available. But we also have to look at the risks, even number of board members. There's a potential that we could have a deadlock. I'm sure there's provisions around that as well. But also, how long is that vacancy to be there? How long do we put ourselves at that risk? Right? We also have talked about, we plan for 12 meetings throughout the year. I think our contract with Artemis, I don't know if it's 9 or if it's 10, or I don't think it's all 12.
It's 12. They adjusted the
12.
contract, yeah.
Okay, so we don't have any consideration there, but also at some point in time, I know we've done the past where we've canceled meetings and said, it's just the holiday time, or let's pull back. So there's also an option there that we can reduce our risk by potentially canceling one of those meetings with summer.
Or you can have a meeting be, not on a specific day that you guys usually have it. Like, for instance, today, you're not supposed to have a meeting today, you're supposed to have it next week.
Thursday.
Right, that's our goal.
So just like kind of push it a little bit towards the beginning of the month, or have 2 meetings in 1 month. So you don't lose it if it's necessary or whatever.
Yeah, my thought was as we go into summer, right, there's 2 things, right? August, all the people are on vacation, and that last vacation before school starts. And my other consideration was in September, or late August, I'm a Norman, or we start September. But that was July, everyone's trying to get it in August when school begins, what was like mid-August, I think they start their, not so the county, and everyone kind of needs to get back into the swing of school and getting into whatever all those activities are. Do we maybe take that month off and let the community rest, during that month? I think our scheduled date is 2 weeks difference between the start of school when we have our meetings. It wasn't right after it. I don't know exactly what school story, but we could reduce our deadlock risk as well by doing something along those. You don't feel we need the meeting, cancel the meeting. There's nothing really to talk about.
And then you can also, if you're not doing the meeting, I will suggest if the community wants to be informed what happened that month, we can do a recap summary in an email, say, hey, this is the news for this month, this is what we have been working on.
There's all different options. So I would say we don't have to necessarily avoid something on the way. We could potentially leave that vacancy until elections come around and not have that, but we do put ourselves at a risk of the deadline. So just want to bring that one up.
But don't you want to get to know that person before it comes to?
You're right. But
because if, for instance, that person decided, okay, I'm ready to be part of the board right now, so he or she's gonna do a trial, right, for those 3-4 months. Then she decided, you know what, this is not for me. We decided this is not for me. So then, at that point,
it also could work the other way. That,
you will see, yeah.
we can't get the volunteer. It's hard to sometimes get the people who are willing to commit the time. So, I think we have options ultimately. We just need to figure all that logistics out. I think we decided that 2 seats were up. I think this right. We were in a rotation with 1 last year, 2 this year. 2 this year. We were on
There's
rotation.
gonna be 3 seats, right?
Well, the maximum we can do is.
No, we can only do 2 seats a year,
Or 2
max.
seats, so it's gonna be which seat, Marcelo's and.
But we don't know yet, that's what we're
If
trying to
you
determine.
do it like we had started, which was reverse order of
Oh,
when they
okay,
were
okay.
appointed, that would have been Jason's seat and Jose's seat, right? That was the order. This was-
Yeah.
Last year, Scott was the last one appointed, and he went under election and was
Okay.
successful. So he's on that next 5-year term.
So it's
So we
gonna rotate.
continue going in that
Yeah.
pattern, which would make sense to me.
Yeah.
Those 2 seats would be up next. If we had that vacancy, we could do with that in multiple ways. This is great.
Are you fine with that, Tim?
Is that what we're doing? Do we need a motion for that, or we just?
So,
Do you wanna have a motion to either, if that seat becomes vacant before the term, to just hold that for the next election, or
But also I think on the ballot, we have,
or to
yeah.
appoint somebody.
and we have to, because we promised, the community never have a empty chair. Yeah.
Okay, then, so then,
So
I think,
there's gonna be a seat available
Mhm.
that is set to go to the election by September. We can appoint somebody. I'm just repeating to make sure that I follow the whole conversation. We can appoint somebody, but that person should have to run again if they want to keep the seat. But as you said, that person could figure out that in those 3 months could figure out that this is not really for me. And that also could open that seat to anybody else who wants to run. The other thing is, you said that we've been doing this in reverse order. Okay. And that would mean that the 2 seats would be Jason's, like you said. Okay, I got everything right. I'm fine either way.
And then on mine, that I was saying that I think we did wrong with Scott, it was that he just put him on the spot. He didn't have no time at all to prove himself. And I think was bad from us to put him on the election, knowing that he had to run right away. But we could have picked Jason because he was the longer, at the time, or you, for example, because they already proved themselves to the membership. And I don't want to do the same thing to someone we appoint and, but that's me, that's my opinion, that at least, Scott proved himself and the people voted for him. But, that can be a double sword for the person we appoint just for 2 months or 3, whatever. And, it can hurt the person as well.
I'm fine either way. I don't want to do anything that is against the rules that we set for ourselves, just to be safe. But, so have we voted on this?
I have a question. Every time that we go through the process of determining if we have quorum, that if everybody had been notified, that makes the meeting an official meeting, right?
Correct.
I think, then again, I've been wrong before. My way of thinking is that there's always time for a special election if happens to be the need. If we need to bring somebody on board, if the meeting is properly constituted, you can take a vote out there from the people in the meeting, the membership and the board, if there's a new member that needs to be added. And that takes care of naming people for positions. Everybody is elected at any given time.
Correct. But what we're talking about is we're gonna have an empty chair soon. And we don't gotta call 2 elections, because then we have to call 1 now to appoint that chair.
Oh, no, I have no problem with, but in the event that happens that this absence occurs in the middle of, or the beginning of a process.
Oh, no,
that
yeah,
he departs.
correct, yeah.
I think that a special meeting,
We
in
can
a regular meeting, a constituted meeting, a special election can be called.
It can be, yeah.
Since you already have a county, like, when the chairs need to be run for election, this one is different because if you want to do it like for the next year, they don't have to run it. They put the candidates, they don't know. And everybody at the end of the day is going to be going for election, let's say, right? Or part of, so I don't know if you want to do it that way or continue your process, and your process has worked. So, so whatever you guys decide either way.
My biggest concern is that if there's some rule or Florida statute or whatever that says X, I would hate that we do something different and we expose ourselves to any kind of backfire.
Yeah, no.
That's all my concern.
Yeah, the bylaw is up to 2 chairs, yeah, the maximum 2 chairs. It
No,
doesn't say
but
anything.
it's like,
Because I did have a community where the statute says it fills the remainder of his term, but the documents, the individual documents said that they only serve until the next election. Right? So let me pull our CCNRs or our bylaws rather.
So then we'll table that.
No,
Do it
I
on-
was gonna say, we don't have to decide today, we got time.
Yeah, on the next
Guys-
meeting.
Guys look into it and kind of have an idea what you want to do next meeting. So we'll table that.
But let's put the plug in. There's 2 seats open. If you're interested,
Yeah.
come talk to us. Come talk to us. If you're interested,
Yeah.
we're more than happy to share our insights, our thoughts, that kind of stuff. So
Yep.
we're definitely looking for, someone to join us on this side of the table. So it's that time. Elections are until September. You'll get all your notice meeting and all that prior to it, as well as your nomination form. But
So the other thing is, if we're going by our new bylaws, there's no nominations from the floor. So they-
Correct.
Yeah, not from the people, yeah. The people cannot do that.
What that means, you can't show up here the day of the election saying you want to be on the ballot. You can't. You have
No,
to.
you have to
Turn it in
by
30 days
Wednesday,
before.
Yes.
Whenever you receive the letter from
And
Alvin.
there's a deadline too.
It's 30 days beforehand, yeah.
Let's say 30 days before on a
Mhm.
Friday, the
Yep.
14th by 2 o'clock.
Correct.
How about you turn it in by 5? Sorry, it's gone.
Yep.
and all that information will be forthcoming
And the pocket.
in written communication
Yes.
to our homeowners. So if you're interested, like I said, approach any one of us. We'll answer any questions you may have. But it looks like we're gonna have 2 seats up for potential election. Well, we will. Doesn't matter who it is. It looks like we're gonna have 2 seats. So start thinking. September will be here before you know.
And the first notice should go out in July.
First what?
The first notice, so we're required to send 2 notices, one 30.
Your elections are in September, no?
Correct, but I think our bylaws require 60 days or more for the first notice.
It's
And then-
between 60 and 30 days
Yep.
before the election. You have to
Yep.
send.
For the first notice?
Yeah.
And then the second notice?
Second notice has to be at least
14 days.
14 days.
14 days, okay.
And then
So now you have,
the option.
I think the earlier we get it out, the better it is. The more opportunity people have to get the word around and probably get more candidates.
And then we can set up everything with the online voting and make sure everything is good to go.
We did talk about having like a meet the candidates or something
Yeah,
like that.
that too. That's what
That's
we
the
need.
reason why I want to send it out as early as possible so that we're able to
Do it meet and greet.
identify the candidates early and within that last 30 days, we can have a meet the candidate and give information out to the
But I think what
membership.
maybe we need to do is work a timeline based on that and budget, see if we can get a couple of the mailings together. Save a little bit of money on the mail again, because the budget also has requirements. On mailing and that kind of stuff.
I usually have the budget meeting, and then after that budget meeting is ending, then we do the election. If there is no election, we do the organization meeting, and that's it.
And that's what
And then
we
it's
did last year.
like back to back, and it's 1 million.
Yeah, one mailing.
The only issue is though that our budget has to go out before October 1st, and if we wait till the September meeting, now in all fairness, I believe our documents say the election could be any time in the 3rd quarter, which puts us between July and September. It doesn't necessarily have to be in September. And I don't know how much time Artemis needs to get those letters out once,
So we need to start working.
Yeah.
Now.
because yeah, that was the problem last year. We didn't get, the year before last.
Yeah.
We didn't get the budget out in time. It went out like mid-October and then we couldn't collect for 3 months.
No, we need to, so on Thursday, we're gonna talk to the board, Freddie. Start working on now.
All right.
Start seeing them.
We need to look at the calendar and try to combine those 2
Combine those two
together,
together,
because
yes.
we do have some special requirements. And it would save us on mailings, even if we had to move elections up a month. It may also cover us with the appointment too. Now we have even less time, have someone sit in the seat, so it may just work very good.
I found the answer for the term. If you do serve for the remainder of the unexpired term, it's paragraph 3.6, it's right there. So it wouldn't just be to the next election, it would be for the remainder, so, because we have staggered terms, right? So if you had 3 years left on your term, that's
And the board
So-
overall, its term is a year or 2 years? What's
It's-
what
Can you say that?
It's 5-year terms.
They're 5-year terms, but the initial election was set up so they were staggered. So not every director, when they got elected, started with a 5-year term,
Okay.
right?
Can you say that again? I didn't follow.
Everybody gets a 5-year term, but the first election that we did, when you got elected, you didn't necessarily get a 5-year term. The first election, I think you guys got the 5 years, right? Because you got the most votes. And then it was 3 years and then 1 year.
So that means last year we should have had 2 seats up.
Yeah.
Every year we're supposed to have 2,
Well, maximum of 2.
maximum.
Yeah.
So, anyway, any other board discussion, any other matters? Nope. Anybody in the audience have any last comments? No? All right, let's adjourn.
James,
Yes,
you didn't mention organization meeting, what is that?
if you have an election, they just gonna appoint themselves like as the director. Okay, Mario's gonna stay in the seat, Marcel is gonna be the VP again, things like that.
Well, because last week we had an organization meeting and you were not present. Is that normally the custom that the management office is not present in those kind of meetings?
That had nothing to do, that was not an organizational meeting for election, that was an organizational meeting for the agenda item of this meeting.
So you don't need to be present for those meetings?
No, I don't need to be present for those meetings.
Okay, so that's.
So there's no motion, there's no minutes being taken, they're just discussing the items on the agenda.
So they can vote on what they're gonna decide for the next meeting? or not?
No,
There's no voting, they're just, reviewing the agenda items.
But they decided last week that they're gonna terminate the term today.
There was a discussion about the agenda, and during the discussion, everybody voiced their opinions, but that was not a vote. It
Well,
was-
there was an agreement.
no, there wasn't.
No.
It was an agreement.
There was a discussion to put it on the agenda.
Okay, so we
And
just,
then the
Anyway.
motion and the agreement happened tonight.
That's enough, we don't have to engage anymore.
Yeah.
I was in this
Please.
meeting and
Yeah.
Mr. Cohen-
Let's not engage anymore. Let's adjourn the meeting, next meeting is April 25th, 2024. Can I get a motion to make them, sir, that's enough, thank you. That's enough, that's it. Sit down, you can get your request every month that you do. He's already had 3 minutes.
so that is, we got to.
Last week, there was an agreement between the board members, and they were deciding to terminate the term today. And that's what happened, 4-1, one abstain. That's what.
That's not
You
true.
were stopped one more time by the same people that brought you in.
Oh, my God.
I feel sorry for you one more time.
Are you done?
Thank you.
That's not true, I was in this meeting.
So thank you.
Mr. Cohen is inventing things as always. I was in the meeting.
Thank you.
There is no agreement.
Okay,
It's a vote.
thank you.
You're right, Mr. Cohen.
Can I get a motion to adjourn meeting? Motion from Jose, second by Herman. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
What time is it?
None opposed. It is 7:53.
8:52.
8:53, I'm sorry.
8:52.
Yeah, I got 53.
You say 7.